Welcome to the Seven Crosses series for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. Now in this video we're going to be doing something a little bit different from the norm, because what I wanted to do after my slight disaster with the Four Corners series is test a number of the very good solutions that you guys posted in the comments. And I'd like to say a big thank you for those comments. You've given me a heck of a lot to think about. And my original plan was to play forward from, I think it's the end of April to the 6th of July with the way I was doing before, and then repeat using some of your suggested solutions to see what would happen. This is the reason why we're now on the 6th of July, but I didn't record the gameplay for this. I just played through off camera to get to this date, and then what I'll do is give you an overview of what happened in a little while. And quite literally an hour after I finished recording it, I went back in to check a couple of things to compare with my notes. And I was really surprised to see that there'd been an update. This video is recorded on the 0.8.69 update, and there is now a 0.8.610 update. And just to confirm, this was released on the 30th of January 2022, if you're watching this in the future. It took me a little while to find the release notes, but as far as I can tell, there's obviously a number of bug fixes to do with distribution offices. There's a couple of references to buttons, which I'm not exactly too sure what they're talking about. But the two minor changes that have been made is that there's been a decrease in the effect or growth of criminality in orphanages. And that'd be quite interesting to see how that actually works. But it might be such a small decrease, we might not be able to monitor it. Also, something that I wasn't aware of, and that is that something to do with the change in criminality due to warders being criminals. And I must admit, I hadn't realised that a warder could be a criminal. I've kind of looked through here. I think there is a guy in it. There we are. We got Lupin Grigori, who's actually got 33% criminality. And I'm not exactly sure what the devs mean by this. If any of you guys that actually know what it means, feel free to chuck it in the comments. But I'm assuming that it's possible that someone who's a criminal warder may slow down their rehabilitation. But looking through this, I can't really see how well that rehabilitation actually works, because I can't find anyone in here yet who's close to the end of their sentence. So everyone in here is in for a very long time, probably because all the people who are in there a long time have already escaped. You can see I've lost 284 prisoners this year. So that's exactly what I want to do. So what I'm going to do now is just talk you through what happened with playing on. What we're going to be doing is eventually going back to the end of April. So what you're seeing here is the effect of 2 months of normal gameplay. And quite interesting, if I go to the stats at the top here, when I started this in April, the happiness was 57%. So we only lost 3% happiness, and the loyalty has remained exactly the same. But the really devastating thing is if I come in here and push this back to so we go back to the end of April. Let's see, go back to 20th of April. I think that should be acceptable. If I show you the actual population, you can see that there's been a fairly steady decline. It's not dramatic, but you can see during this period I had 1,699 escapees. Don't worry about the immigrants. That was a test that I put in out of just sheer curiosity. And you can see we had 3,026 births, but also 3,150 deaths. So overall, we've lost nearly over 1,000 population through this process. In fact, nearly 2,000 actually, if looking at that. And the other thing that happened is that if I come up here, you'll see that I've got 182 workers due to low education. And what seems to be happening is that you get hotspots which cause problems. And unless you're very vigilant, these hotspots can really get you into trouble. And I want to start up here, because what you'll find tucked in here is not there, up here, sorry, is a shop. And what actually happened here, if I show you the overlay here, you'll see that the loyalty is absolutely terrible. And what actually happened up here was, again, I think productivity is something also you've got to watch very, very carefully, because the productivity dropped. And I had the same problem as I had in Colville, that the number of servers in here couldn't serve everybody. And these are the people that are affected most. And what happened is that these didn't have any food. So this area here, the population started to crash, and you can actually see that across the top, not that one, this one. You can see it, but back in April, these were virtually full, and you can see what happened is the happiness crashed, the loyalty crashed because of that problem there, and it was very much isolated in this area. I also had a similar problem strike over here in Ollerton on this corner here, and this one was a little bit more subtle because again it wasn't so much that this ran out of servers, but for some reason, I think it was because of the extended range, these people are right on the limit of the range. What started to happen in this area is the population started to collapse again, and the biggest culprit was food. And I think what happened is that they just couldn't get to here, and because all the servers were pretty busy, they started to be getting a cumulative effect here, because the people living in this area couldn't actually get in and get something to eat. And again, what I've done is I've put another store out here to alleviate the problem. Another problem was over in Stilton, and it is still a problem at the moment. I think this is an example of how low productivity actually works, is that what I had in this corner, if I show you the school here, you can see we've got students in the schoolyard and the system is actually overloaded. That actually is the reason why I've got so many workers with low education. And what I did was I built this school here, and if I let the game run, what you'll see is I'm not getting the maximum here again because of the low productivity. You can see, although these productivity is pretty good, but you can see 38% is there. In fact, probably if I go back over to here, because the baseline productivity is 30%. If I can, whoops, thank you game. Wait, stop it. If I find someone who's got virtually no, there we are, we've got someone with no loyalty whatsoever. So the minimum productivity is 30%, but if you get a lot of people down here on 30%, and you can see that I've got lots of people in here with virtually no loyalty whatsoever. And this is due to either people coming out of prison, because people coming out from prison seem to have no loyalty or no happiness. And there's also the ones coming in from the orphanage down here. And you can see here that you've got people here kind of 17 years of age, 19 years of age, no happiness, no loyalty, and with 100% alcohol, 100% criminality. Now, part of that problem is due to the fact that I didn't fix the criminal system, and the criminal system remained broken and completely overloaded. So I think that had a major contributing factor to that low loyalty. Of course, what that did is that low productivity here really affected the schools. And I don't know if I can demonstrate this a little bit. See, we got here 40% here. But if I can come in here, I don't know if I'll be able to get away with this. If I put 40% in here, you see at the moment, we've got a full workforce and there. But as soon as you start getting people in here with a higher loyalty and a higher happiness, what you get is an increased productivity, which means you start getting more students in here. But of course, you can't really go beyond the maximum. It is more dramatic if you push up to 40 from 35 when everyone else is on 35. What I've been experimenting here with these two schools, in fact all my settlements, is pushing just one school up a little bit higher when I've got a spare capacity. In fact, probably Colville is a slightly better example. Is that if I come in and find the school here, what you see is what I've done, I've got a school here at 35%. Let me just check the other school. Got a school up here at 35%. And what I've been doing, well, maybe I didn't do it here, but I'll just show it to you. What I've been experimenting with, when I've got spare capacity, I've been pushing one of the schools up in a town with multiple schools, just to see if I can get staff in here with 40 loyalty to pass it on to the children as a way to try and push the loyalty up. And I think the only thing I managed to succeed was to keep the loyalty at 27%. I just can't get above 31%. So that is the current situation, and all we've got so far is just a steady decline. If I show you here and we just let the game run very quickly on fast, what you'll see is that if I carry on with the way I'm doing things at the moment, and you can see here that it's just going to be an inevitable decline in population due to the fact that even births are barely keeping up with deaths, and we've always got these constant escapes. Now I'm pretty sure these escapes are due to the problems with the criminality. And of course I get loads and loads of these messages, and I think just to finish off this section, I just want to show you what was up here, and this is where the immigrants were brought in. What I did was again I can give you a little bit of a demo if I can find a building that's got some, just slow it down a little bit. And what I was just doing is a little bit of a test to see if I could, whether bringing in immigrants would actually increase the happiness and loyalty. So if I show you the happiness here, happiness is 36%. If I come in here, and we got a bit of there, I mean we're not going to be going on with this anyway. I found that if you bring in these, if we kind of just fill this up very quickly, you can see straight away now, if I come back to here, you can see that we can push this up to 34% and with loyalty, and we can actually get 50% happiness, but that's about the best we can get. So trying to bring in immigrants to try and push your loyalty and happiness up isn't a particularly very good idea, because I can't remember which one of these two blocks I actually brought them into, but you can see what's actually happened is over time they've just drifted back down to the normal process. I think this winds up this section talking about the July 2000. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to reload and go back to the start point of this, and then we're going to do a couple of fixes as suggested by you guys in the comments, and then bring the game forward a little bit just to see whether we get the same results. So if you bear in mind that we've got a population of 35,470, a happiness of 54%, which is only 3% lower than it was before, and we have made absolutely no change to the average loyalty as well. So what I'm going to do now is just load the previous save game, and I'll see you then. So here we are, we're back to the Seven Crosses series. You can see we're on the 20th of April 2000. We've got a population of 37,155, so that confirms the population loss. We've got the happiness at 57%, and we've got government loyalty at 27%. Now I have taken advantage of the knowledge that I gained from the previous run through. So what I've done is I've put in a large school in here. I've also, as a contingency, scheduled a store here just in case. And of course what we are doing over in Ollerton is building another store here. And what I've actually done is I've removed all the population from this building, because this is the one that took the biggest loss. And what I've done is I've moved these over to here. So what I've actually got is these buildings have got a lot of population in. I can't remember, it's about 150 people. So in some ways these are compensating for the immigrants I brought in. So that's the current situation. Now what I want to do is, somebody, apologies I can't remember the name, but somebody pointed me in the direction of a way to fix the criminal system, and basically it's a reset. And the first bit is a little bit tedious, because the problem is the police stations. I actually did monitor the courthouses here, and the courthouses work, but it's the police stations that get bottlenecked. And I think I was someone that actually said that it was a bug. But what you've got to do is delete all these. It's going to take a little while to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'll delete all these from all the police stations in the map, and I'll be back when that's actually done. This has taken a long time to do it. In fact, I did consider probably demolishing these and actually rebuilding them, but then I would have lost vehicles and other things. So we've now removed all the outstanding crime from the map. I just want to get back to Colville first before we do the next stage. Now the next thing you need to do is press CHE. That enables cheat mode. Come to here, come into general debug, and down here it says there's a thing that says reset citizens crime level. So what this does is it effectively sets all the crime level back to, I don't think it's 0. I mean, I don't actually know, but we're actually going to go all like that, and then we'll just go back and do that. Now, the next thing I'm considering doing is actually reducing the difficulty with happiness, but I think I'm going to leave that just for the moment. But what I will do is just drop a very quick save as a backup for this so that I don't have to go through all that process of deleting all the crime things, because if we still have problems, what I might do is drop the happiness down again. So I'm just going to do a quick save. Right, so we've now got a save game, and unpause. Now I'm going to let the game run forward slowly, because one thing I did learn from that previous run through is that in the current beta version, you've got to keep an eye on everything that's going on all the time, just to be able to be ensure that things are going on. The other thing I've also set up over here is a bit of an experiment with an orphanage. I just can't remember. Just see, get the helicopter crew in. I think we'll get the helicopter crews in here to give a little bit of assistance, because what I'd want to do is compare a new orphanage with an existing one to see whether these orphanages need to be rebuilt. We seem to have lost 5% happiness almost instantaneously. That's not a good start, is it? Okay, so we dropped from 57% to 52%. That must be due to the effect of the reset, but we haven't lost loyalty. And if we kind of get in here now, we'll just see how things are going. Yeah, I mean, they're actually solving the crimes now. If we can see if we can hook another courthouse as well. I mean, it's going to take a little while for the crime to get underway. Obviously, there's no crime in here because, of course, I suppose we need a little bit of criminality here. But we are starting to get offences in from other places. Hopefully that will settle down and we're able to get things kind of set up a little bit. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to go round. Of course, we need to work on building this area. Oops, not over there. Because I think the real killer is productivity. And of course, because productivity is tied to happiness, things can be a little bit thing. In fact, let's just see if we can... Oh, wow. Right, I've got a feeling this may not change to the end of the month, because there's still people escaping because they're generally unhappy. What we're going to do is we're going to play fast till the month rolls over. So we're still losing population. We're still exceeding deaths. This is everything that happened during the 2-month period. I couldn't get reduced the escapees at all. Eventually, the births started to gain against the deaths, but we always had this constant drain of hundreds of escapees. So I think we're going to have to accept that. Well, we got our happiness just went up 1%. So I'm just going to let that run through. We're going to play on fast to the end of the month, because I think what might happen is, because I've disturbed the status quo, that this may not actually reset until the end of the month, because I've noticed that before, that some stats are almost like predefined. Now, while that's going on, I'll just give you a bit of an update of what I've been doing with the construction trains. What I've done is I've brought one of the construction trains up to here, because I wasn't getting the workforce over in the other construction office because of the problems in Colville. So what I'm hoping is that we can get things kind of working forward a little bit. But I've got a feeling it's going to take a little while for the situation to kind of settle down. And I think at the moment we've got one train got to go up and work that area there. And I think the other one is working there. You're in the wrong place. Just going to cancel that one at the top there. Oh, you've got the auto detect on. I don't want the auto detect on, because I want you working in specific positions. Let me just see, where are you? You're doing that. I want that one. Where's this one? I don't want that one for the moment, because one thing I did, yeah, that's what I want built. I want that detected. And then what we'll do is I don't want that to actually I think we'll go with that one and build that. And so what I'm trying to do at the moment is electrify this line, so we're just gonna let the game run through again. In fact, sorry, I'm getting a bit twitchy. Yeah, so what I'm trying to do is build in wherever it is. Where is it? Where's Stilton? where I want to get this section finished here and then electrified so that we can start getting the iron ore coming in. And I want to use the shorter distance to get out to over here with respect to getting all this electrified so we can get trains in here so we can actually set up a pickup point for clothes. And then the other thing, let's go and check my other construction office, which of course has only got 3 trains in it now. I have considered buying another one, but I think the problem with this office is it's getting so far away from the action now. You can see how far out it is. And I say the problem is the number of workers I can get in here because of the population problem. Yeah, so we're working on this side of the map at the moment. Yeah, I think if we can get the population working and all that and improve happiness, get our productivity up, and we might be able to put another construction train in this area. What I want to do is get over to here. Where is it? And I want this guy to actually, we're going to be quite busy this thing, so I think we're getting working on that area into there. Yes, I know happiness is too low. Now the other thing that thinking about is a distribution office here, because a rail distribution office, not an ordinary distribution office, because I'm thinking that if we're going to get steel and mechanical components and possibly other components in from here, the ability to send this out with a distribution office will be there. Plus it will also allow me to test the fact that the distribution offices now, they've actually fixed the problem, so they can be a through station. And what I'd like to do is how far away from that is. So we're going to have to kind of try and put you in about here. Just kind of squeeze you up a little bit there. We can get you here, just like that. I mean, this is going to be a low priority job, but I just want to put it in, and you can come down to there, and then what? I think we can just run through here. Ideally, what I'd like is for you to run in, say like that. Now, I'm not going to put a crossover in here because what I'm hoping is that the trains will know which side of the track they want to run on. Well, that's the theory anyway. Come in here. We need to be 200 odd meters from there. I think maybe that will work. I'll just accept that track there. Of course, we'll have to try and find some way to build this back curve now. So we got that there. Get you guys. For some reason he doesn't want to detect text. I just wonder whether he's got so many jobs he just doesn't know about it. Right, we're on the 30th of April now, so I just want to. I'm just going to speed through the end of April and see if we get a reset. We're still losing lots of people, but our happiness is recovering. Right, so we've now rolled over. And it looks like it might settle down a little bit now. We'll just keep an eye on that. We'll just keep playing. And just get back to check the courthouses just to see how things are going. Yeah, so it looks like not courthouses, police stations. It looks like the police stations are keeping the crime under control now, but of course it hasn't built up to the levels it was before. And hopefully that might actually fix that problem. Now, one thing I would say, and I've been kind of thinking about this, and I just want to be very interested in your guys' opinions. I think considering that the prison has a ability to set a government loyalty, I think what you should really need to do is be able to do that in a courthouse and a police station, because in many ways, people who would serve in the judicial system inside of, say, a Soviet republic would be loyal to the party. So it seems a bit unusual that the courthouse and the police station don't have that option to set a level of loyalty. So we're going to see that. Wow, we're back to 55%. So we actually, population is improving. What I want to see though is loyalty improving. Let me just see how things are going. This happiness is too low. Yes, I know. Let's actually see stop production. Oh, we know who you are. We don't want to go there. That's tourist town. Let's see where. Yeah. So we still got a. So the happiness is improving a little bit here, but the loyalty is getting worse. I think that's down to. Let's have a look here. Yeah, see, I'd like to improve this, but I'm pretty sure if I actually push this up, we may lose the teachers because we're just in that threshold. I wish there was a bit more granularity on this slider. Say, like it went up in, say, 2% or 3% rather than 5%. Actually, looks like we might get away with it. I could move some people in from other locations because, of course, one of the problems you've got is like here, this allows residents to come in, but, and it's a very big but, that the new residents coming in tend to come in with low loyalty and low happiness. Although this one's got 20% loyalty, that's not too bad. You've got this one here, he's 37, but he's got low happiness and 8% loyalty. He's probably actually an ex-con, isn't he, really? And I think this is what actually drags down your overall loyalty and happiness, is the fact you've got the criminals coming back into the system, and also you've got the ones coming out the orphanages. I can't find anyone in here that's got a 28-year-old there, 30-year-old. So you've got a 30-year-old here, no, 26-year-old here with 8% happiness and 0% loyalty. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is we're going to switch you off, and in fact, I'm going to switch all these off actually, because I don't think I've got any unemployment in this area. And this is something else I got from the. We got a little bit of unemployment in here, so we're okay at the moment. Yeah, this is the other thing I got from. Oops, let's play a bit slower because I need to keep track of what's going on. Yeah, it's allowing wholesale people to come into new areas is a little bit risky. I mean, what I could do actually is if we go back to here, see if this will help matters a little bit. We'll allow workers in here, but only people above 25%. And see if that will help with educated people, but only over 25%. And I think we can do the same here. I've got one building that's accepting. We only have people over 25% here. And we're not letting people back into there. We're not letting any work. I'm going to reduce this down a little bit. And we're going to have exactly the same here. And yeah, in fact, we're going to stop people coming into there as well. We've got a prison out here, but it's not particularly that effective. And I'm actually, let me just pause a little bit. I'm kind of, the problem is that these can't, there's only this block. Actually be easier to do it this way around. There's only this block where workers can come out here, but I can't really assign them exclusively. So what I'm thinking is this is a little bit more of a long-term planning, and I'm being a bit optimistic that there is a long-term for this series. I'm still confident that I can keep this series going. I'm just going to let that run, and I think what we'll do is we'll put in another residential block here, because it'd be close to the cable car system. But what we could do then is once we got people moving in here, we can actually get some movement there. What we got there, what's that? 377, 231. Oh, I'm impatient. I think if we get another 231 people on this corner like that. In fact, I could do it carefully. Possibly get 2 blocks here like that. Then we'll get you there. Look down again. And we can book you. Oh, come on, game. Okay, you're gonna have to go in that way. It's gonna increase the distance though. Right, we're gonna put you. Cancel that. I'm gonna put a footpath there, and then I think if we want to put a footpath through like that, we might. We can get you connected. That's good enough. And because you don't need to go out this back, but you do need to come out that way. So we'll just accept, and then we're just find the road crew again. Whoops. This road crew, and we're you on that. That. So this is more long-term planning, but and I think one of the other problems is that when you have prisoners here, you see we're getting 37 escaping because we've only got one warder in here. I mean, I could try shutting this down. Let's just shut this down. Actually, I think our current prison can handle any overflow. The trouble is now we've got 13 prisoners in here who won't move, and I'll be interested to see whether those prisoners stay, but they probably will escape. But what I don't want is prisoners being sent to it. I think this prison is still got a little bit of capacity on it going there. See, we're up to 56% again, but our loyalty is not rising. And let me just see what. We're actually turned round our population growth. That is good. That means we're now getting more births than deaths and escapees combined. So it's I think that proves beyond all doubt that it was the broken criminal system that was causing the population crash. Now, for any of you guys who followed and enjoyed my Four Corners series, there is a possibility it may come back for a short run once this update drops into the stable branch, because what I'm half considering is possibly trying to do a very early restart just for the fun of it, but it won't go into a full-length series because I don't really want to do a full-length series with say a 1900 start until the game actually drops into its full release, which is supposed to be the end of this year, but you could probably say it's going to be about a year's time. But one thing I will be doing once I'm a bit more comfortable with this update is I'm going to do a series of different starts just to get a feel for how happiness, loyalty and productivity works when you're starting, because I don't want to restart another full-length series until the next update drops, which is the watered update. And then once that series drops, we'll be looking possibly at an early start, but possibly around 1940, something like that. And then we'll just some fun playing that, because the updates that come after that are potentially not save game breakers, but that's always something that comes with a very strong caveat in the sense that you never know with any game. I mean, I've number of times I've played an early access game and I thought, well, I'm okay with this update, it's going to be quite small, and then suddenly everything's broken and I've had to start again. And probably the biggest offender for that was Imperium in its early days with the alpha releases. The number of times I had problems with the alpha update. So that's the way, and that's both for me that's both the reason why I play early access games. I like that change, the new updates being added, but it's also the frustration in the fact that you've got a really good series going and then it gets blown completely out of the water. Anyway, let's just have a look at see what's going on now with our kind of kids. They're still not really gaining loyalty and happiness, and I do wonder whether I do need to rebuild this here. I mean, have we got the helicopter crews working on it? We've got this. What's up with these guys? I mean, I suppose they don't have the spare workforce. This is the problem. We need to grow our workforce back to 38,000, and this is where I need to go on patrol now and see if there's any. Oops, thank you, game. We got unemployment in this area. Food is good, but you need to, when you're doing this, you need to check over it. Don't just sit back here and say, oh, well, that, yeah, that looks okay. What you're looking for is dead zones or potential problem areas where things can get a little bit out of control. So this is good. Sport is brilliant, or reasonably brilliant. Clothing is not 100%, but then it's not to be expected to not be 100%. Loyalty is kind of staying in the 30s at the moment, but we are back to 57%, so we've actually recovered quite a lot of happiness in a relatively quick way now. So we got here, this is 25, this is 30%. The other thing I've also been playing around with is these sliders. Now, if you set them too high, you still get people in these buildings who come in, but they can't actually get an education. So sometimes you just need to drop these down a little bit. But of course, we really need this school built because we got massive kind of here, and this is actually growing. Oh no, it's gone down a little bit. I think probably is maybe the teachers here, because they're on 40%. They're actually teaching more, so they're actually possibly reducing this. But because I want to grow this area here anyway, I think that there's going to be no problem with that. A little bit worried about why I've got no vehicles here. I've got a feeling that my road crew there has kind of got out there, but what I can do is call these guys in. They've got lots and lots of machinery. If I do get all this, all these problems associated with loyalty and happiness, and get the population growing again, what I'll be doing is sorting out all my construction offices. So I'm very much aware of what I'm doing is not ideal, but I can't see the point of planning expansions and doing other things until we've got on top of this overall problem. So that is the way it is. Just over here, one thing I haven't mentioned is the electronics industry is going pretty well. You can see we are producing some electronics. We're getting a nice steady supply there. I did have a bit of a steel crisis here because, again, low productivity, but we're actually getting the workforce into here now, which means we're producing a fairly steady supply of steel, which is another reason why I brought the second construction train up to here. So this is good. I did consider putting a second courthouse in here as for fixing the criminality, but I've suspended it now because I don't think I'm going to need it. So we got that area there. We'll just go up to our new area here and to see if there's any problems developing here. Loyalty. Well, we got 20% loyalty there, 19% there. So it looks like we might just be starting to trickle up a little bit. But I'm not sure what. Yeah, at the moment we've got enough teachers in here, but we've got a little bit of an overflow. I think part of the reason for that is we can just increase that so that we can ensure that we're getting a good education for our kids here. I mean, I've got another school being built here. I put this kindergarten in because I was getting a little bit of a problem here with the fact that you can see the way this moves around. And one thing you want to do is, if you see that your workforce is full and this is the maximum, what you want to do is go back and compare it with the default. So for example, if I can come back to Stilton here, so you can see here we've got maximum 10 teachers, 10 staff, 15 teachers. Yes, I know it's not completely full, but this is a standard school. If you come back to here, you can see that it's 120. So you can see at the moment this school can't really educate everybody at the moment because we don't have enough 40% workers in here. But if I drop this to, oh no, it's creeped up. But you can see still it's only 96 when it should be 120, and this is the effect of productivity. Because again, if I pause here, you can see here that even with people at 40%, they've got 82% productivity. But if we go across, so this is another reason why you want well-educated people in your schools. And if you can keep this as high as possible, it means you get the higher productivity as well. Plus the fact that they're educating these kids. See, we're getting the next generation coming in here with they're getting 41%. So this generation, once they come through, they're really going to start pushing up the loyalty. In fact, we've managed to increase our loyalty 1%. Wow, that's a major step over my previous attempt at this cycle. We're only on the 21st of May yet, so we've still got a month to go. I've still been whacking down lots and lots of monuments, and somebody pointed out that monuments won't get me above 40%, but that's the way it is. We've got a footpath that needs to be built there. Let me just go across and see what this guy's doing. Let me just see. I think we'll get you building this. I think I still want this shop here, because another thing I've noticed is that you're better off, and I think somebody actually pointed this out in the comments. Apologies, I can't remember which video it is now. I've been looking at so many different comments and different things, even going back looking at your previous comments, so I can't remember which comments on which video now, but somebody actually pointed out that rather than having a big central shop like this now, it actually pays to have multiple smaller shops with a reasonable capacity, so that it protects your so it protects your community against drops and falls. Should, like you say, if you get this localized crash in loyalty, so like in fact we've managed to stagger up to 20% there. We're back to 21% there. We got 17% there, and this is the one. No, it's not. This is not the one. Where's the one? It's this one here. So this is still 12%, but we've probably got no one moving in now, because of course one of the problems I've got is the fact, even though the population is now growing, and you can see it's actually creeping back up towards 38,000. Of course, part of the problem is that it's backfilling into some of these areas around here, like over here, which in some ways is not that much of a bad thing, because we're spreading that negative influence of the kids coming from the orphanages. Lifespan 70C. So we're actually getting some reasonable percentages coming through now. Just see the orphanage here. Again, and we got 35% here. And let me just check. We've actually got 158 kids in care, but 99. We can only treat 99, so we've got some outside. And again, this is an example of the lower productivity. Though the productivity is improving. Just take a look at the overall loyalty here. We're actually 32%. I'm kind of thinking, I've got a school over here. I'm wondering if I can sneak that to 40%, whether we can get, unlike other places, this Ollerton seems to have a bit of spare capacity for education, and we're still building this. Let me just see. We need to get this guy working on here. This is relatively low priority. My building is about power supply for steel. Yeah, well, you're not meant to be building steel. You're only meant to be building roads and supplying general goods. So we'll just get that in there. Of course, we got knife edge here, or well, Nicomo is the correct name for it. Someone did comment about getting up the loyalty and the effectiveness of your television stations. It seems television stations and radio stations make a massive difference to the increasing your happiness and your overall loyalty. So we need to push these up here, but what we really need is the electronics flowing across the map now. And I haven't actually checked my economy. How are we doing? Oops. So we're not making as much as I used to be, because I've been messing around trying to get things, but we are working quite well towards that now. I'm just going to keep the helicopter crews focused on different places. It'd be nice to get that place finished. One problem I did have here, I just want to check that I did the fix in this save, and yeah, one problem I had here was the collision between the trains, and I think since I've made this change by making it an in and out, that's actually worked quite well. But for strangely, this side hasn't had the same problem. We're actually building up a little bit of money as well. Let me just see what this guy's doing. Got a few jobs. Let me just see. I kind of want him out here working on a few bits and pieces. Right, we've got a school there. I don't know if I actually want that school at the moment. I think I would like to build that. Oops. Let me just get this guy again, because are you working? You're not working on that cinema. Want that there, and I can't remember what that is. That's the hospital being built. What's this? There's an indoor pool. I think we'll just leave this at. Actually, no. We're going to get you on here just to get some of these outstanding jobs finished. Let's just check the loyalty again. It is creeping up very slowly. The happiness is improving a little bit. What's upsetting you guys? Meat and electronics. I can't remember if I've actually set up electronics. We do have a problem with meat. Well, we have got electronics. I suppose it's just taking a little while for people to acquire them. Again, electronics is something that's very long term now, especially as the fact that electronics don't last forever anymore. So you're not only just giving new people electronics, you're replacing old electronics as well at the same time. Kind of would half like to set up a bus route, because none of these have actually got access to university education. But I think at the moment we got plenty of educated people around the map to keep things going. While we're going back this way, things are looking good. Yeah, you can see now the happiness is getting up a little bit, and the loyalty is creeping up very slowly due to the effect of the education. Let's see. Yes, it's still 35%. It's a shame you can't see the children in here. But I suppose you can see the children looking at them here. 12%, 38%. So we are kind of slowly bootstrapping up this area here. We've completed another monument, Sputnik monument. So that would kindergarten there. What's the loyalty in these blocks? 19%. And of course, this is my favourite. This is the one. Oh, they've actually got to 22%. That's not bad. Just want to check my output for clothes. It's not as good as it used to be. It's why, it may explain why my income is falling a little bit. Over here, who is working on this area? I need this meat production, so... Oh, you're working on that, so... Actually, what I might be able to do is... How's these guys? I don't think these guys are doing anything particularly that interesting at the moment. Let me just see... No, you're working on this as well. But of course, one of the problems I've got here is the steel mill here. I've got to be completely honest, I think if I can get the productivity up in Stilton, well, I'm starting to think that the steel mill here is coming to the end of its life, because it's I'd rather do it there. And of course we've got how far off are you? You need a bit more steel. I'm kind of inclined to open this up for new people as well, because we've lost a few people from this area. But we are back to just short of 37,000. But how are we doing? The escapees are growing again, which is a little bit of a cause for concern. But at the same time, births is staying ahead of escapees. Let's just see how the justice system is going. It looks very much like they're staying on top. Probably, I mean, it can be a little bit difficult to work out where people are escaping from. Let me just see. Let me just have a quick look here. I mean, it'd be great if you could filter this by month rather than overall process. Industry, citizens' loyalty is too low. Yes. That's right over here. Yes, I know that. Right, I'm aware that I'm running out of time. I was hoping to get to July, but we're not going to get there, are we? What I'm going to do is just do a final check on the rail lines, and that's where I'm going to leave it. Let me just see. Yeah, these guys are very slowly moving forward. It's this problem here with the workforce. I need to get the population back up in this area. I mean, it's creeping back up again, but again, it's productivity that's the problem. See, the kind of lower population is spread all the way across that. Of course, this is also affecting the helicopter platform here, and this is taking time. This needs steel. What is going on here? We got a problem with steel. Yep. Jack this up a little bit and see. There's a truck in here that's putting the Donsk Hospital. So he's filling up here. Needs 42 tons of steel. Maybe putting a construction office on this steel mill has been a bit of a mistake, but we do need to build stuff. So there's no point pretending otherwise. It looks like, so that's the way it is. I think mechanical component wise we're okay. We got 32 tons of mechanical components, so we don't have a problem there. More importantly, we're keeping the steel flowing into here, so that's good. We're just not building anything at the moment. That's the way it is. Just have a quick look. I think the next thing I do need to solve is the meat situation. I think if I can get a nice reliable supply of meat from here flowing across the map, that will fix some of the problems with deaths and other things. So what I really do need to do is get this finished. We need 9 tons of steel. So this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. What I'll do is I'll play on until the 7th of July, so that in the beginning of the next video I'll be able to give you a comparison of what the changes have actually occurred. And it's really good to see that we've actually got to 60% happiness and 28% government loyalty. So it means we might be going in the right direction. So until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.